Hello, everyone. I'd like to start this speech out with a little short dialect of me and my mom and having a conversation on the phone that we might have from time to time. So I'll start with Mom. How's baseball? Me. Good. How are things at home? Mom. Doing all right. Same old thing around here. Me. Good, good. Well, how are you doing? Stop. This is a poor example of communication between my mother that happens on a daily basis. I'm going to share this story because at one point we've all been college students that we are now, have been away from our families at some point. I thought about this situation and applied it to not only families as a whole, but the situation I'm currently dealing with right now. I'm making the claim that the application of two rational dialect principles of conflict intimacy can play a role on parent-child relationships. But first, I want to provide a brief background on the case before I define the theories and two principles and then an analysis at the end. So first, let's talk about the case. So with the case, um, obviously, so if any of you don't know, I'm not from around here. I'm from St. Louis area. I play baseball down here at Fort Euler. Um, so I'm, pretty far distance away from home, about 6 hours away. So any kind of contact that I have with my family is over the phone, or the kind of the maybe a couple times they come and visit me to watch me play, but it's only for a short stint. So that definitely plays a big role on the communication I have with my family, but especially with my mother. With my dad and my brother, I usually call them up. I can talk to them about baseball or fishing or golf or any kind of sport related stuff or quote guy stuff. But with my mom, it's always really short. Basically talking, hey, when am I going to get my next allowance for some money? Hey, how are a few things at home? And stuff like that. And then, just kind of some school stuff here and there that I really rather not talk about on my weekends off, rather not talk about school stuff on my weekends off. So there's um, very short communication, not a lot of communication between me and my mother. So I guess I want to tie in the two principles I'm going to use. So with rational dialectics, relational dialectics, excuse me, introduces the concept that the closer individuals become to one another, more conflict will arise and pull them apart. This is the definition explained according to Baxter and Montgomery. And I want to really stress on distance, not being, um, physical distance, but closer to that, um, that me and my mother are, like, as far as our relationship. And I want to talk about, with rational dialects, I want to talk about conflict and intimacy. And with conflict, you have separatedness and connectedness, and then intimacy, you have closeness and openness. Um, with conflict, um, so I kind of took. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to start with intimacy. So with intimacy, I kind of took a different point on it. So you look at intimacy in a social media context. So I am far away from home. So kind of that openness, social media, so Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that. I kind of post kind of what happens in my life um, to my friends and whoever else is on my social media. They can see what I'm doing and stuff like that. To where my mother doesn't use that, so she doesn't really know what's going on in my life. And so yes, I kind of feel like I've already kind of said it to the world. I don't really feel like saying it again. And at the same time, I have a busy schedule, so I don't always want to talk about the stories and what I'm doing my weekend and stuff like that with my mother. Because I have a busy schedule, and along with that, there's sometimes I wouldn't really want to tell her certain things I might do in my weekend. Um, possibly one weekend, on a certain weekend, I might drink a little too much, and the next day I may not do homework when I should have, or may not have been at a certain place that I should have, and even though I might fix that mistake and stuff like that, that's not something I really want to share with her. Um, because I'm trying to make my own person down here. I'm kind of have a little freedom at school. I'm trying to get away from home, and also, I kind of explain my life on social media. That way, it just kind of says it for me, instead of having to always communicate with everybody kind of at the same time. And so then, conflict ties in with that because conflict is huge when it comes to that. I'm trying to create my own persona. My mother won't let me if she's constantly always on my back and constantly trying to know what I'm doing in my life in every detail. So sometimes, I shut her off to my own personal life. with that kind of context. So um, so that's where kind of the separateness comes in. I really don't let her in. I keep her separate, and maybe she feels and kind of connect us. She's raised me ever since I was yay tall. She's always been connected, and I've always been connected with her. When I was home, living at home, I would always be able to come home, tell her about my day, stuff like that, because I was right there face to face. But this distance has really put in to the point that I am separate from her, and even our relationship has become separate because distance has played a part, and she's constantly wanting to know, and yet it gets hard for me because I don't know at the time. And also, I feel like going back to the social media standpoint, I know it's an interesting take, but I feel like I've told everybody already what's been going on, and I don't feel like I need to do it again. So it gets very hard for me to really connect with my mom, even though I just know she wants to talk. Um, it gets very hard. Some certain things I can recommend to myself. I need to look at her side, her side of the coin, and partake of the struggle that she wants to know what's going on in my life. Like I said, she's raised me ever since I was little. She's been there for everything, all my baseball games, graduation, this, that, and the other. She's always been there. Um, and for her to kind of me to be ripped out of her life, it must be very hard. Um, now what does she do? I need to see her side, as far as not shut myself off, be open to her, not closed off, not separate. Be connected, be openness. Those kind of those concepts that we talk about. Also, I get defensive when she asks me questions about personal life, and I should rather just be open to her and explain to her what I'm doing with my life, instead of keeping it private. Like I said, be open. Connect with her. That way, if I have problems, they can help. This, that, and the other. So, today, I explained in a way, the two rational relational dialectic principles of conflict and intimacy of a parent-child relationship. Um, this helped me see the way communication in my example could be handled and what to expect of these concepts and the outcomes that could happen. And then there are a couple things that I could do better as a whole as a communicator. But I think with everything that my family has done and has given me, it's only right state of mind to give back what they've given to me, and bestow that upon back to them because it's only fair to them. So hopefully you guys learn a few things from my case, and I look forward to reading the rest of yours. Thank you. Bye.